Welcome back to Akina Garage. Today we are doing a clutch install on this AE86 because Hugh was having a little bit too much fun out on the wet pan and burnt out the clutch. And I'm actually going to be installing this one today, but I am cheating and I have a little bit of help from Mr. Akina himself. So we've been mucking around a lot this morning. So
Mr. Akina. Mr. Akina.
Alright, let's get into it. Let's cut to the action.
Alright.
So in the last episode, we dropped the gearbox and we took out the clutch and it was just everywhere. So now we're just cleaning up the gearbox and all the gunk in it with a bit of brake cleaner and a microfiber cloth, trying to get it real nice and clean. And now just have to clean out behind the engine where the rear main seal is. You can see there's lots of bits of clutch, and just using the brake cleaner again, trying to get out as much as possible. And this is the dust cover. And yeah, this is also very greasy too, so just cleaning that now. Now I'm just trying to install the pilot bearing, but before I do that, I need to remove the old pilot bearing. This is what the gearbox shaft actually goes into, and to do that, you need to shove bits of bread in the cavity behind the pilot bearing, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm hitting it with an appropriately sized socket. And you can see, because the bread fills up the cavity, it pushes out that bearing. And you can pry out the rest of it with a screwdriver and just clean it out. Now I'm pressing in the new pilot bearing with just a rubber mallet. Try not to hit too hard and getting it nice and level.
And now we are installing the flywheel dust cover. It's simply 2 bolts. Just put it on as much as you can by hand and then grab a spanner and just put it on snugly.
Now I got this flywheel machined at the local shop, cost me 110 bucks, but we're cleaning it with brake cleaner.
So we're now back under the car installing the flywheel. Simply line it up, and then Hugh is going to apply a medium blue Loctite and pass it to me, and I'm just going to tighten it by hand. Then we will get the machine out, but we are not torquing it all the way.
Now a trick of the trade is that you put a bolt in the gearbox hole and you get a spanner and you put it against one of the dowels on the flywheel. That way when you're torquing it up, the flywheel won't rotate as well. Now setting the torque wrench to 95 Newton meters because it's got ARP flywheel bolts, and always doing in a crisscross pattern. And you can see once we're torquing it up, the flywheel isn't moving because of that spanner. So again, crisscross pattern and torque it to spec. Now I'm cleaning the actual clutch with brake cleaner. Now we want to fit the clutch on using this clutch alignment tool, which is that black plastic thing. It slides into the clutch and we line it up to that pilot hole.
And now Hugh's just going to hit that clutch pressure plate with some brake cleaner and slide on back under the car. Now we're going to line up these holes to the existing dowels on the flywheel. As you can see, I'm holding that clutch alignment tool, so when we tighten the bolts on the clutch pressure plate, everything just stays aligned.
Now we're using the machine to tighten it, but we're not tightening it to spec. We're going to use the torque wrench for that. So we're setting the torque wrench now to 22 Newton meters as recommended. And we're just going in a crisscross pattern again.
Now you can pull out the clutch alignment tool and you should get a really nice sound like that.
Now I need to replace the thrust bearing. So this bearing pushes against the clutch pressure plate and engages the clutch. So it's quite an important bearing. Just using a gear puller to remove it from the carrier. And now this is the new bearing. Using a rubber mallet, and hammering the carrier into the new bearing. Nice and smooth. Now, using the provided grease, we're just greasing up all metal to metal contact points, such as on this clutch fork, on the carrier bearing, on the gearbox spline and shaft. Lube up that shaft, you know?
No comment.
And putting back on the fork, just testing the movement there. Lubing up inside the carrier bearing too, and sliding that bad boy on the shaft, and just testing the movement, and it looks fine. Now I'm also lubing up inside the clutch as well, and on the clutch pressure plate fins, because that's where the carrier thrust bearing makes contact.
Now this is the hardest part of a new clutch install, getting that gearbox back over the clutch. So essentially we have to put the gearbox back under the car and then evenly distribute the weight on top of the jack so it doesn't fall off and crush Hugh's face.
That's right. And now I'm doing that good old foot method, trying to pump it up with my feet whilst also making sure that it doesn't fall on my head. And yes, it's a little bit scary actually, but it can be done. So I'm trying to line up that gearbox input shaft, trying to slide it into that hole. And I'm thinking, why doesn't it go in? And it's because the gearbox mount is in the way, it's hitting the exhaust. So better take that off, give myself a little bit more room, try again. And with a bit of wiggle, slid on, and yeah, success, great success.
And now we can relax a little bit because everything from here on out is a little bit more easier. Put the 2 bolts back into the gearbox, and now we're going to slide the tail shaft back into the gearbox, fill up the transmission oil, just like that, just like so.
That's right, we're filling it up through the gearbox shifter, and I've got the top gearbox bolt undone. So once the oil leaks out from the top, you know that it's full and you can seal it back up. Now this is the starter motor, again just putting it back, 2 bolts, and then putting a bit of RTV copper gasket on the shifter itself, putting that back on with the associated bolts. Now I've got to give it a bit of a jump start with my Esky battery holder. Turn the car on, let's see if it gets in gear and actually moves. Oh yeah, look at it move. So we know the clutch is working now. So to properly bleed it in, I need to drive 500 Ks, granny spec, can't be revving it up too much, and just checking out that engine bay again, making sure that we got no leaks.
Thanks everyone for stopping by the garage and seeing us install the new clutch. And the next one, stay tuned because there's always something happening here in this garage. I think Hugh already has something.
Thanks for watching. I've got this, a Kaz 1.5 way diff for the RX-7 right there. So I'm thinking about installing this for the next episode and taking the RX-7 drift. How's that?
Really? The RX-7's...
Drifting. The 2-way or 1.5 way.
Watch us replace a clutch in the RX-7 in a couple of episodes time.
Diff.
No, because you're going to do the clutch if you take
Oh,
that drift.
true. Alright, until next time. Thank you. Catch you soon.